the expert trial attorney, Jeremy Rosenthal. Jeremy, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Hello to you.
Hi, Gina. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for asking. So let's break down this latest headlines. A lot of the viewers keeping a close eye on the Trump administration and the executive orders. We are now seeing law firms coming forward to speak out. There was a lot of controversy surrounding this. We usually hear from the people that go to the law firms, whether they are pleased or displeased with how their attorneys are handling things. But now we're hearing directly from the law firms as it relates to President Donald Trump and the executive order. Break it down for us, please.
The Trump administration has targeted several really big law firms. These are not like the law firms that you see on the corner. These are not your mom and pop shop or solo law firms. These are law firms that have probably hundreds of lawyers each, generate hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue every single year. And they represent a lot of the big companies, the Fortune 500 companies that you've heard of, other wealthy individuals. They do all sorts of different kinds of work. They bring lawsuits in some instances, or they'll defend lawsuits. In a lot of instances, what they'll do is give tax advice, or they structure deals that can be very complex and that also need some type of government clearance or approval, like from the Securities Exchange Commission or something like that. So these law firms do some really complicated work for some very big clients. The Trump administration has very specifically targeted a handful of these law firms, and the Trump administration's complaint are primarily, and Mr. Trump has made no bones about it. In the executive order against Perkins Coie, he comes out and says that they represented failed presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. That's the words in the executive order, and that the administration didn't like some of the certain legal actions that this law firm took in those cases. Also, the administration complains a lot about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and claims that those are Title VII violations. So those are the types of things that the administration is sort of complaining about. And on the flip side of that, these law firms, some of the remedies, some of the things that the Trump administration wants is it's locking them out literally of federal courthouses, saying you can't come here, revoking security clearances so those lawyers who are trying to structure deals and need to deal with the Securities Exchange Commission, or need to deal with the IRS, or need to deal with, say, even the Department of Defense, if we're talking about a defense contractor, are unable to access those types of federal areas. So they can be very damaging to these law firms. A lot to unpack here, very complicated, very technical. But the Trump administration had a very bad day of court today on this.
Jeremy, thank you so much for that detailed breakdown. And we know once these law firms came forward to speak to the press and to the media, President Donald Trump did not waste any time getting on his own Truth Social, sharing this with you and the viewers in real time. It says, quote, "I'm suing the law firm of Perkins Coie for their egregious and unlawful acts, in particular the conduct of a specific member of this firm, only to find out that the judge assigned to this case is Beryl Howell, an Obama appointment, and a highly biased and unfair disaster." He goes on to say, quote, "She ruled against me in the past in a shocking display of sick judicial temperament on a case that ended up working out very well for me on appeal. Her ruling was so pathologically bad that it became the talk of the town. I could have a 100% perfect case and she would angrily rule against me. It's called Trump derangement syndrome, and she's got a bad case of it. To put it nicely, Beryl Howell is an unmitigated train wreck." He concludes by saying no justice. Well, we see, Jeremy, that President Donald Trump did not mince words. For many people, when they look at this quote, they look back to the election season when we know that President Donald Trump was not happy with the judge overseeing that case of different things as it relates to election interference and other agenda items. For many people, this puts them in that place of mind.
Donald Trump wears his emotions on his sleeve or on his social media accounts. I mean, he makes very clear sort of his complaints. One of the fundamental issues here is that these lawyers from Perkins Coie specifically, if you're criticizing them for the job that they did with Hillary Clinton or the practice of law, these lawyers, the way that a lawyer is held accountable are different ways. Lawyers get paid by their clients, and clients can hire and fire the lawyers if they're not satisfied with them. Also, the state bar can get involved if lawyers are acting improperly, and licensing agencies are typically run by state Supreme Courts. The executive branch doesn't get to regulate the practice of law. If, for instance, I mean, I do criminal defense work. Could the governor of the state of Texas or the president of the United States ban me from practicing law because we don't like that you defend criminals or people that are accused? Well, obviously not. So when we take it to this level and when we take it to a different, if we take it to a law firm like Perkins Coie, we can't bar them from practicing law because we don't like what they've done in the courtroom. The way that is remedied is through either the private market or by the state bar or by the courts. So it's not really the executive's place, I think, to come in and to police the practice of law if that's what he is trying to get at here. When we do look at the executive order in its entirety, the administration takes the position that DE&I violates civil rights, violates employment law. And maybe it does and maybe it doesn't. That's again for a judge to decide. The executive could potentially direct the EEOC, which he did in this order, to go and investigate these law firms. Now, I don't know that the executive could also unilaterally suspend and take action against these law firms as if the executive branch was also the EEOC. So when we kind of put these things in motion, that's why I think these law firms are having some success here in trying to block these orders. Now, there have been a lot of law firms, I think at least a half dozen, that have made deals with the administration. And these are very difficult conversations for these lawyers and these law firms to have, because if you're a mega law firm like Perkins Coie or Skadden, who is a firm that did in fact settle with the administration, what you're talking about in your boardroom is this: look, we've got our set of facts, we've got our set of principles. That's really important. But we also have clients who have to do work with this administration, potentially defense contractors, for example, or mergers and acquisitions and groups that need some type of regulatory clearance, like from the Environmental Protection Agency. And the law firm says, look, these big clients will leave us because now we are kryptonite because the administration says so. So if we don't go and give the administration what they want, we're going to be out of business. If it's not the administration putting us out of business, it's going to be our clients that put us out of business. So there have been a handful of firms that have sort of capitulated in that fashion. But obviously, Perkins Coie, another law firm that has sued, is called Wilmer Hale. There's a few others that are expected to bring actions in the next few days. They've taken the position that we're going to stand up to the administration. And I promise you, there are very loud conversations being had between these partners of these law firms.
Trial attorney Jeremy Rosenthal. Always enjoy talking law and order with you, Jeremy. Thank you so much for joining us, your detailed perspective and analysis on all things Trump administration as we continue to follow the latest executive orders. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. You too, Jeanne.
Thank you. Thank you so much.